Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day, a channel that brings you all the latest goings on from Ibrox, a channel that is run by fans for you, the fan, and to hit that sub, ring that notification bell if you want to come on board. Well, guys, it has been a manic week, a busy week in Glasgow, particularly on the best side of the city, the blue side of the city. We're going to obviously look a little bit back, a little bit forward, a little bit sideways, a little bit all around everything to do with Rangers. We've got news about Tom Lawrence and his return to fitness. We've got a little bit of news about a bit of Dutch arrogance. What a surprise as PSV seek to gain their revenge from last year. We're also going to look a little bit ahead as well to Ross County away, which is coming up on Saturday in Dingwall, which won't be as easy as some people think. I think will be a tough test for Rangers travelling away after a European tie at 12:30, not a 3 o'clock kickoff, with a Ross County team that, again, it's when most teams play Rangers, it's their cup final, isn't it? I think it will be for Ross County. We're also going to talk a little bit about some transfer news as well to do with the club. Anyway, let's start off by talking about this young man here, 29-year-old Tom Lawrence, Welsh international. When he joined Rangers last season, he looked a quality player, certainly someone who, impressed for Gio van Bronckhorst's Rangers at that point, didn't he? He played a vital role in a number of games and played well in the PSV game in particular away from home. And he does something that Rangers seem a little bit allergic to doing. Rangers seem allergic, don't they, to shooting from outside the box, but Tom Lawrence is certainly not afraid to take on a shot. Lawrence played a little bit of preseason football, but really hasn't featured since then and has been struggling with a number of injuries and trying to get himself back to full fitness after that injury of last season. Lawrence played for the B team in a behind closed doors game against Hamilton Accies at Rangers Training Centre. A fixture that was organised to give him and some of the a couple of other first team players a chance to get some more match fitness under their belts, namely Leon King and John Lee Yefeko both played in this game as well. Now, Rangers came out on top, 4-2 winners in this behind closed doors game. The B team triumphing over Hamilton Accies. Cole McKinnon with a brace, McCausland with a goal, and the other goal coming from Tom Lawrence himself. Lawrence gave an exceptionally impressive performance as part of an front attacking three by all accounts. Haven't seen the game personally. I'm merely going off reports that I've read and of things that I've been told by people who do know a little bit about the game that went on. David McCallum, who is the B-team coach, said it was important for him to get back on the pitch and game environments. Obviously, the manager was keen for him to get minutes on the pitch. Obviously, he's talking about Tom Lawrence. Tom coming to the group was excellent, speaking to the lads and sharing the experience. It's something we spoke to him before the game, and it's something he enjoyed. So it's good to see him having an influence on those young players. Obviously, as well, playing was Adam Devine, Kieran Wright in goal. Bailey Rice also played a part, and Aaron Lyle as well. So a number of our very promising young talents got to play in this game, and certainly encouraging for them that they got to play alongside Tom. And Tom had an input into their play on the pitch, and as McCallum said, was a very, very good leader for them. Now, it's obviously there is no chance that Lawrence can play against PSV on Wednesday, as he's not in the European squad. He was not selected by Michael Beale as he was not fit for the first leg. However, there is obviously an opportunity for Lawrence to try and get some more minutes under his belt at the weekend against Ross County. Now, I think it's highly unlikely that Michael Beale will start Lawrence, but he could certainly feature from the bench, especially if Michael Beale seeks to rest some of his first team players ahead of the PSV game on Wednesday. Now, certainly PSV do not actually play at the weekend. They have got a weekend off to help them prepare for the Champions League game against Rangers, which obviously will help them greatly rest all their players and get their players back to full fitness. Lawrence, like I said, I think could feature. I think he should feature. I think he should play some part from the bench. I'd love to see him given an opportunity to come on and play for the club at some point against County at the weekend. Lawrence is an exciting player. Will be like a new signing. He's certainly a player that is very energetic going forward, very positive. Like I said, not afraid to have a shot, good passing range, a quality player. And the more quality players we have like this, the more options we have, attacking options we have, the better for the club. And, certainly if we are to have a run in Europe and still be involved after Christmas, whether that be in the Champions League or the Europa League, which we'll discuss near the end of the pod. It is vital that we have a squad that is capable of taking us through the Scottish League, which are our bread and butter, which is, I think, for me, the biggest must win this season is the league ahead of anything else. And having players like Lawrence into that squad, adding to the depth, especially if, players like Kamara and Hadji are going to leave, the better for Rangers. So great news that Lawrence is back and playing. Now, let's sort of kind of look a little bit ahead to Wednesday night. Now, as I've said, PSV have the weekend off as they seek to prepare for the Rangers game on Wednesday night. They will have had since Tuesday a good few days off to prepare themselves and get their players back to full fitness. Now, Peter Bosz, who is their manager, has got his team playing some very good attacking football and has certainly turned this PSV team into a very effective team, much better than the team we faced last year. However, the tie at Ibrox, as we know, ended 2-2, just as it did last year. And many Rangers fans, like me, are hoping that history repeats itself and we can go over there and get a positive result that sees us through the Champions League group stages. But it will be an exceptionally tough game. Now, there's been a little bit of Dutch arrogance, but not from Peter Bosz himself. He has never, I think, shown any arrogance or been condescending in any way, shape or form towards Rangers or towards the Scottish game. This time it's come from Dutch World Cup legend Willy van der Kerkhoff. For those of you who don't know who he is, or he was before your time, he played in the 1974 and 1978 Dutch World Cup final teams, both of whom lost to Germany and Argentina, respectively. Now, the former Dutch international Van der Kerkhoff reckons that PSV will complete the job in Eindhoven as he thinks they are a better side than Rangers. His exact quote as well was, if PSV don't qualify against a team like Rangers, then they have no right to be in the group stages of the Champions League. I think the fact they have the weekend off because they will help the players because they should have never have lost 2 goals in Glasgow. They need to cut out the mistakes. Jordan Tees in particular had a poor evening. Peter Bosz says there is a lot more to come from him, but I'm curious to know what it is. PSV were punished for their mistakes by Rangers. They have a lack of quality defensive and they need reinforcements, but they really should be able to finish off Rangers next week. There is no excuse not to. Wow. I mean, that's telling, isn't it? I mean, that's a team like Rangers. They should be able to finish off Rangers next week at home. There is no excuse. I mean, do they really think they're that much better than us? Are they genuinely thinking that they are that much superior to us? Well, you know what? At times in that tie, in second half especially, I didn't see a great deal of difference between the two teams. PSV are poor defensively. Yes, we could have done a little bit better. Yes, we could have easily come away from this tie with a 4-2 lead if Matondo and Danilo had taken their chances late on. So it's a bit of arrogance, isn't it, from the Dutch? Really is. And I think, again, it's more material than Michael Beale can take, pin up on the bulletin board at Ockenhowie, at Ibrox, and in the dressing room in Eindhoven next week and just say, there you go, boys. Look what the people are saying about you. You're not good enough. That this team here is better than you and should finish you off in no time at all. Well, that's pretty disgusting for me and pretty arrogant as well. And it's not just him as being arrogant. The Dutch defender, one of the Dutch defenders, one of the PSV defenders whose name escapes me at this moment in time, said that Rangers were all about firing balls into the audience. I think was his quote. I mean, I think it was Joey Veerman. I think it was, and he insisted that his side were totally dominant. I think the arrogance is just quite astounding for me. It was Veerman, and he said this is what he said about Rangers. He said we had the ball for 90 minutes maybe after the first 15 minutes. Well, How do you have it for 90 minutes after 15 minutes? I mean, did you play 105 minutes? Possibly, I suppose, with the added time. We had opportunities, but not real opportunities. Well, that you didn't create a lot then, did you? That is becoming a repetitive story. We are not just a one. We're not just one man in the 16. We have many players who would like to have the ball, but too little going forward. We have to work on that. Rangers shoot balls into the stands throughout the game. I mean, for me, the arrogance coming from a number of the players and a number of the former players, and it's just astounding. It really is astounding. I mean, I can't imagine our players coming out with this sort of rubbish. I can't imagine our players making these comments about another team. It to me is pure arrogance on behalf of the Dutch. And like I said, it's bulletin board material. It's good material for us to pin up and use to inspire our players. It's disgusting. And I really hope now we go and absolutely smash them on Wednesday, knock them out, put them out like they deserve to be out. This arrogance is not befitting of a team of their status, not showing respect to a team like Glasgow Rangers. I think it's absolutely disgusting. Now, one of their players, Johan Bakayoko, who was a very talented member of their team indeed in Tuesday night's game. Now, one of their left-sided players certainly gave James Tavernier a tough time. He is now the subject of a £20 million bid from EPL team Burnley. Burnley have been seeking a number of wing talents, apparently also interested in Sunderland's Jack Clark, but have been rebuffed by the Wearside club on a number of occasions. So seem to have turned their attention to Bakayoko. Now, it's known that it isn't just Burnley that are interested in signing Bakayoko. A number of other teams are also interested in acquiring his services. Now, look, I very much doubt that PSV will allow him to leave before Wednesday's game. But you know as well as I do, when a player becomes the subject of big money bids from EPL teams in particular, the English Premier League is an exceptionally attractive destination for a number of players around Europe. It is the biggest cash cow in Europe after all. And, it is the subject of the most press coverage and they've had an awful lot of success in European competitions as well, not Burnley, but teams from the EPL. It gets a vast amount of worldwide coverage. Now, it could be a case that this man Bakayoko has his head turned to some degree. He's a young lad. He's only 20 years old. It could be the case that, he does want this move to the EPL, and, he's not going to go out there and risk himself too much against Rangers when he wants this transfer. He's not going to get a transfer when he's injured, is he? I may be completely wrong, and I could be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5. But it does seem that, this bid, which is, I think, a real bid, it was tweeted out by the Italian transfer guru Fabrizio Romano, the man who seems to know absolutely everything about what is going on in world football. So very interesting indeed that the EPL team Burnley are interested in trying to get hold of Bakayoko. I certainly wish them every success. And if you can get it done before Wednesday, lads, even better, although I doubt that will happen. But like I said, it could work because it could easily turn the heads of players when they become the subject of transfer bids, big money transfer bids from teams from the English Premier League. So good news for Rangers, maybe. Now, one of the transfer rumours that has been doing the rounds in a number of papers and a number of reports is Luis Palma. It appears that there is no truth in any of these rumours. Johnny McFarlane said that Rangers are not interested in acquiring the services of the Honduran winger, who has a pretty impressive goals and assists record for Aris Thessalonica in Greece. However, our City rivals and that lot from across the city are interested in trying to get hold of Palma and are reportedly going to put in a £3.5 million bid for the winger. A number of Rangers fans have obviously seen these links and have been keen on Palma, seeing him as a direct replacement for Ryan Kenton. The manager himself has talked about the need to replace Ryan Kenton, felt he has not done that yet. Now, it could be that we have kind of done that already, and that Rabbi Matondo has now answered that call. Rabbi Matondo, now he's playing from the left, is perhaps showing his most effective effective skills and effective ability, and really showing a career redemption due to the fact that he's playing on that left side that Ryan Kent used to take up. When Matondo tried to break into the team last year and Kent was playing there, he certainly couldn't get his minutes there. So, maybe it is that Matondo will save the club a lot of money on that front. But it does appear that there is no interest in Palmer from Rangers at all, which does go against a lot of the press reports that have been going on all summer. And if he does head across the city, no doubt he will become a figure of hate, just like all of their players are when they attend games, when they come to play at Ibrox, or they play any game in that horrible green and grey shirt. Now, Rangers travel to Dingwall at the weekend to face Ross County. Ross County have the exact same record as Rangers. They've played 2, won 1, lost 1. They scraped past Airdrie 4-3 in the Viaplay Cup game last Saturday. In terms of their last game, they beat St Johnstone, and their first game they lost, of course, to Celtic at Parkhead in a game that was controversial due to a penalty, at least one penalty turned down for Ross County that many feel that they should have got. They lost 4-2 to Celtic. So they're not going to be a team that are easily pushed over. They are going to be a team that will be well organized, that Malky Mackay, their manager, will have well organized. They will be ready for Rangers. And again, like a lot of teams, when they come to play Rangers, it will be like their cup final. They line up in a 4-4-2 formation. Last game, they played with Laidlaw in goal, Brown, Baldwin, Leake and Harmon. A midfield of Danda, Randall, Lataru, Sims with Murray and White up front. Like I said, they will be well organised. They will try and frustrate Rangers. They will put that low block on, and try and hold Rangers back. It will be for us to try and break them down and get the positive result. We do need to go there and win. We cannot afford to drop any more points after that opening day defeat to Kilmarnock. Now, there's been a lot of talk in the press and on other podcasts about what sort of lineup will Michael Beale use against Ross County. And I think he will make a number of changes. I think he may rest a few players. But for me, you've got to go in there with your best players. You've got to, no matter what, even if you play them for 60 minutes, get ahead and then take them off. That has got to be the way forward. You cannot afford to slip up in games like this. Now, I was thinking about this. I've got 2 possible lineups that I could see. Would like to see Michael Beale start the Ross County game with. This is the first lineup that I came up with. Thanks to wearethepeople.com for the lineup generator. So Butland in goal, I think, picks himself. I think we rest Connor Goldson again as he sort of builds his way back to fitness. I think we could give Dujon Sterling a run out right back to rest James Tavernier. Not because I'm saying Tavernier is not good enough to play there. I just think for Tavs, to get the best out of Tav on Wednesday, we need to make sure we give him rest time. He's not getting any younger. His legs are perhaps not as they used to be, and his ability to get forward and back. We need to give him the best possible opportunity to recover. Barisic as the other fullback, Balogun and Suter as central defensive pairing. A midfield 3, I think we play Cifuentes, Raskin and Dowell. I would start Dowell over Jack. I don't think we risk Jack in this game. That seems to be the way it's going, that Jack's games are very much picked and chosen for him. But I do think we need to start with Raskin, because we've got to play with our best players. We've got to get a lead. We've got to get ahead, and then I think take them off. That is the way forward. Cifuentes wasn't that impressive against PSV on Tuesday. I think he does need more time to gel with this team. Again, hence why I'd play him. Cantwell, you have to play Cantwell. I just think not playing our best player, not playing our most creative and skillful player would be a huge error. Danilo, I think he needs more minutes. I think we rest Dessers. He played obviously on Tuesday. Give Danilo the start. Again, he needs minutes. He needs time to gel. He needs time to become more sharper in front of goal after that miss. And I would also like to see Kamar Roof given his first start as well. Roof is fit again. He's probably the best finisher at the club, and does obviously score against Scottish Premier League teams like Ross County. So yeah, I would like to see Kamar Roof. Now that's one possible lineup. My second possible lineup, I've got a bit more 4-3-3. This time again with Tav back at right back, could equally be Dujon Sterling. Other than that, the same back 4. Midfield 3 of Kieran Dowell, I think, needs to start again. Raskin, you've got to play your best players. Todd Cantwell as part of a 3 in midfield, and then a front 3 with Rabbi Matondo giving width to the left, Danilo on the right, and Roof through the middle. letting Matondo be that wider player. Now, again, a bit of a risk, but I would like to see Roof play. I'd like to see Roof get minutes. Cantwell and Raskin, I think, they are our best players. They have to play, even if you take them off after 60 minutes. We've got to, not risk it. We can't keep risking it. We can't keep going, well, okay, well, we'll go with this player, and then hope that it works. You've got two of the best players in Scotland there in Raskin and Cantwell. You've got to use them for me and to get ahead early. Let me know how you'd start. Let me know what you think of those two possible lineups. Now, as I've said, I just wanted to touch quickly on this. We go into that game on Wednesday, the UEFA Champions League game, with the possibility of qualifying for the group stages, which are exceptionally lucrative. For me, it's absolutely vital that we qualify for the Champions League. Look, I know we've got no chance of winning it. There's very few teams that have chance of winning the Champions League, in my opinion. You've got Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Manchester City. They're probably the three teams that you would favour to win the Premier League, the Champions League, because of the fact they have most of the cash and have spent most of the money on some very, very fine players. But in terms of generating revenue, in terms of generating money to help us close the gap financially to those across the city, now they have a better revenue turnover, better revenue income, better revenue streams. And I know that football shouldn't be about this. And I know that football should be about the glory of trophies and the glory of your club. But unfortunately, in the world of modern football, it's about making money. It's about your team generating money. It's about your team generating income. Financial fair play is also around in Europe, and if you want to have the money to compete for top signings and to build a squad capable of challenging, you need to have income streams bringing that money. You cannot rely just on one wealthy individual anymore. So the Champions League generates a substantial amount of money, more than about double what a Europa League run would ever generate. Now, ideally, you would finish third in the Champions League group and then drop down to the Europa League after Christmas. But I do think in terms of gaining revenue and getting revenue into the club, it is very important that we qualify for the Champions League. That is the main reason we need to, because of the revenue stream. You've then got to look at your trophies. Has been the Scottish Cup, the Viaplay League Cup, and the Scottish League. That is what we need to be concentrating on to get our trophies and get our glory and maintain our standards as being the most successful team in football. But we do need, I think, to be in the Champions League for the money and for the prestige as well. The other thing is the Europa League is exceptionally irritating on the fact that it's a Thursday, Sunday. When you play on the Thursday, you then have to play on the Sunday, which means you're constantly playing catch up. And the less time you were in that, the better. You don't really want to be going constantly into that Sunday game, having to win, or be in a situation where you're playing catch up to someone in the league, particularly that lot from across the city, given the fact we are already a few points behind them. Yes, I know we can close that gap if we beat them on the 3rd of September. But to me, the Champions League is where you need to be. A club like Rangers needs to be in that Champions League. It needs to be generating income. I know you can play some pretty scary teams, but I don't think there will be ever a situation where we will be in the same situation last year. We were in pot 3, so the chances of getting a group of death like last year's is a lot slimmer. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's about the revenue stream. That revenue stream is vitally important for us now, particularly as Scotland doesn't generate the same money in TV deals and sponsorship deals that those south of the border clubs do. Well, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. Please hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and come and join the channel. The channel brings you all the content for absolutely nothing. And as always, there's 2 things I need you to do for me. Number 1, smash that like, and number 2, always remember, we are the people.